that's the whole point, just being able to do whatever you want to do. I mean, a lot of bands that really dig themselves into a hole by trying to do the same crap over and over, you know. It might have been cool the first time, maybe even halfway the second time, and by the time you've done it for your third album, it's like, Jesus, you know.
Released in January of 1994, Jar of Flies is Alice in Chains' third EP. After the band released the EPs We Die Young in 1990 and Sap in 92. The EP was recorded in September of 1993 at London Bridge Studio in Seattle. Jar of Flies contains 7 tracks: Rotten Apple, Nutshell, I Stay Away, No Excuses, Whale and Wasp, Don't Follow, and Swing on This. The EP has sold 4 million copies worldwide, making Jar of Flies one of the band's most successful releases. It is also the first EP in music history to debut at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart, with the first week's sales exceeding 141,000 copies in the United States. The tracks No Excuses, I Stay Away, and Don't Follow were released as singles to promote the album. And Jar of Flies was nominated for 2 Grammy Awards in 1995, Best Recording Package and Best Hard Rock Performance for I Stay Away. During Alice in Chains' extensive 1993 world tour for their album Dirt, bassist Mike Starr was fired from the band for his drug use. Enter Ozzy Osbourne bassist Mike Inez.
But there's no plan. There's no plan. It just happens.
Well, actually, there is a plan. We didn't let you in on it.
Okay, I'm the new guy, so
we're gonna do the whole. Well, we're gonna do the Jim Morrison trip and leave you holding the bag, have them do all the interviews for us.
Okay. Let's see. I found my niche.
The newly formed band returned home to Seattle after the end of their Lollapalooza tour and found themselves evicted from their residence after failing to pay the rent. Homeless, the band then moved into the London Bridge studio in Seattle. And this is where the band would record Jar of Flies. Drummer Sean Kinney said, "We did Jar of Flies to see how it was to record with the new bassist Mike Inez. We just went into the studio with no songs written to check out the chemistry. It all fell into place. The sounds and the tones were really good."
We just went in, we didn't go in to actually make a record. Well, we said we were gonna. We said, yeah, sure, we got a lot of songs.
That's what we always say.
Yeah, and then we just kind of went in and made it up as we went along.
Yeah, we did it at London Bridge where we've done stuff before.
The recording for Jar of Flies was complete within 7 days, with the album's sessions lasting around 14 to 18 hours a day. Layne Staley said, "The band just wanted to go into the studio for a few days with our acoustic guitars and see what happened. We never really planned on the music we made at the time to be released, but the record label heard it and they really liked it. For us, it was just the experience of 4 guys getting together in the studio and making some music." It's alright, there comes a time. The album's title originates from a science experiment that Cantrell conducted back in 3rd grade. The experiment consisted of maintaining 2 jars full of flies. The flies in one jar would be overfed, while the flies in the other jar would be underfed. The flies that were overfed reproduced rapidly, but then died from overcrowding. The flies that were underfed managed to survive throughout the year. Talking about Cantrell's 3rd grade experiment, Staley said, "I guess there's a message in there somewhere. Evidently that experiment had a big impact on Jerry." American photographer Rocky Schenck photographed the album cover in his dining room in September of '93. As he recalled, the band had come up with the idea for the title and wanted the cover to be a young boy looking into a jar filled with flies. "I remember they asked me to use crazy colors in the shot, so I utilized lots of different gels over the lights to achieve the final look." Schenck's assistant took several trips to a nearby horse stable where he caught hundreds of flies using a butterfly net. Every day it's something hits me, I'm so cold. So Jar of Flies is really one awesome collection of songs. If you've never checked it out, I would highly recommend to. Everything on here is pretty much flawless. All amazing songs, really. I mean, you've got obvious standouts like Nutshell, I Stay Away, and No Excuses. And a really beautiful, amazing song, really, and Don't Follow, a real standout there. And the first track, Rotten Apple, I mean, that's just an amazing song in itself as well. And you've got a 2.5-minute instrumental song thrown in there as well with Whale and Wasp, and that's a really nice sounding track too. So there is a lot to like here. It is Alice in Chains' second acoustic EP. It was the follow-up to 1992's Sap. And while Sap is a very fine collection of songs in itself, Jar of Flies just took it that extra step further, I would say. Has a couple more tracks than Sap, and the quality is just all there. And that has taken nothing away from the Sap EP either. Very high quality there also on that EP. And with the Jar of Flies EP, it's just a really good listen. You're all done in half an hour. Amazing quality. One of the most successful releases for the band. It's right up there with their top-selling stuff. Came out after the band's success with their album Dirt. You had Mike Starr leaving the band, and we had Mike Inez making his debut for Alice in Chains here on this EP. And of course, Inez still in the band right up to this very day. So it was Alice in Chains following the huge success of their album Dirt, just getting into a studio, jamming it out, seeing what they came up with, and they came up with Jar of Flies, and it's damn awesome. If you never checked it out, as I said before, give it a listen, see what you think. You will not be disappointed. Longtime fans of this EP will know exactly what I'm talking about.